Hey, welcome back to the show. You know, fall is one of the best times to stay inside when the weather is gross and cook a tasty meal or bake a delicious treat. Now, here with a list of fun new cookbooks to check out is Lara Hamilton from Fremont's Book Larder.
Laura, it's so good to see you again. You always bring us books that are not just for cooking, but I also feel like are art. And our first book, I hope I say this right, Cannelle et Vanille Bakes Simple.
Yeah, absolutely. Well done. Yeah. And it's actually by an author named Aran Goyoaga, who is local to Seattle. She blogs and writes as Cannelle Vanille, and this is actually her third book. It is full of gluten-free baking. So if you are gluten-free or have someone on your holiday list who is, I can't think of a better recommendation. Aran was trained as a pastry chef and raised in a baking family. And so she's got all kinds of beautiful recipes and photography. She's a food stylist and photographer herself. So she shares recipes like her sourdough. If you are starting to think about your Thanksgiving baking and cooking like I am, she's got this sort of recipe for a pine nut tart that actually has a date nut crust. It's just a fantastic book. I think even if you're not gluten-free, you'd find a lot that you would enjoy in this book. And like I said, local author. So we always like.
Yeah. I mean, you couldn't ask for more than that. It looks beautiful, like you said. The next book you have is Black Food, edited by Bryant.
Yeah, so Bryant is a California-based author who is the chef at the Museum of the African Diaspora. And so this book is full of not just recipes, but art and essays. And like all of Bryant's books, it even has a playlist. So by chapter, you can play music as you read and cook along. It's got some really great recipes, and I chose this Somali lamb stew by Hawa Hassan, who's a Seattle native and is now a food writer and former model, actually. And it's just really well done. There are cocktails, the photography and the art is beautiful. And despite the fact that he's brought together sort of so many different people, it has a very strong point of view. And if you like to read your books as much as cook from them, I can't think of a better one.
It's beautiful. And I love the idea of a playlist while you cook. That is key for me while cooking. Moon Cakes and Milk Bread by Kristina Cho.
Yeah, so this is a really wonderful Chinese baking book that actually just came out yesterday. And I really appreciate it because Christina has really taken the time to go into great detail about each recipe. So, for example, I will get there. We've got sort of milk bread here, which is one of the quintessential recipes in Chinese baking. And she goes into great detail about how to shape it and proof it and gives a lot of detail in the recipe. And then each variation on moon bread has sort of that same level of detail. I'm also really impressed by this book's selection of savory baking.
Oh, yeah.
That idea for your turkey leftovers right there.
Like a savory mooncake. I'm here for that.
Yeah, exactly.
I am here for that.
Exactly.
Wonderful book to include. Okay. Weekday Vegetarians sounds like a great way to try to be a vegetarian.
Yeah, exactly. So this is by the really popular food writer Jenny Rosenstrach, who has been writing about cooking for her family for probably 15 years now. And they decided to try to incorporate more vegetables in their lives, but to not necessarily go whole hog vegetarian. And so like all of Jenny's writing, this has a lot of great tips and tricks for incorporating more vegetables, for incorporating more flavor, key ingredients to use. It's got recipes that I think anybody would love. So things like that caramelized pizza. She also does this really fun thing with each of the recipes where she has a little tip for the holdouts. Look at that tofu banh mi. This is something we eat in my house a lot. But with each of the recipes, she has these little tips for the holdouts. So if you've got someone who really isn't going to go there, here's like a little something you can do, a really easy way to incorporate some meat so that they're not entirely left out of the meal. So this is just a really great family cookbook.
This final book is by Stanley Tucci called Taste.
Yeah.
I didn't know that Stanley Tucci was a cookbook author.
He has written 2 or 3, I can't remember off the top of my head now, cookbooks. And of course was in the film Big Food, 25 years ago, maybe. And so I think has sort of been very closely associated with Italian cooking due to that. And then also just his own love of it and his own recipes. And of course, over the pandemic, anyone who follows him on Instagram got lots of cocktail tips and things as he sort of very charmingly and suavely mixed up drinks from his home in London. But this is just a delightful read. And he just shares all kinds of stories. If you like him as an actor, you'll love this book. If you like his cooking, you'll love this book. And I think it's a wonderful holiday gift as well. It's just a very personal book.